What's up, y'all? Welcome to the next video of the Supra build. It's been quite some time since our last video, and there's a lot that's happened. I'm going to walk you through every single thing that has happened from the last time we were at Julian's garage. Now we're at the fab shop. We need to get all of our cold side piping done and everything to made up to the new throttle body. And there's a lot that's happened since the last time, so let's take a look with what's going on thus far. So, if you look here, let me turn on the light, might guys be able to see a little bit better, but we got the new intake manifold on. There's a lot that isn't connected. The fuel rail is not on. Obviously, the intercooler pipe is off. There's no throttle body, but we ran into quite a bit of difficulty when it came to installing this. For one, when I installed the oil cooler, as you know from the last video, the sandwich plate was, a big fail. And the reason for that was there was no sensor ports for me to put the oil pressure sensor or the oil temp sensor. So between that video and this video, it's been a few weeks. So I've called PHR. I kind of told them what was going on and what they recommend. And I was pleasantly surprised because they took care of every single question or issue that I had, starting with the sandwich plate that they gave me. They said that they themselves are coming out with their own billet aluminum sandwich plate that's going to have a bunch of provisions for anything that we want to add to it. But unfortunately, that's not going to be made available for a little bit of time. They didn't tell me exactly, but I kind of want to get this car back up running and get it on the dyno so we could finally make the power that we've been building this car for the past 3 years. So I had to go ahead and buy one from Chase Bays, and PHR basically hooked me up and they said that we'll take care of you on any future orders. And so that's what they did. This is what we're here with today. So I ordered the Chase Bays sandwich plate, and I'll put some pictures and videos in one of the corners to show you what that looks like and how that fits up. It's under the intake manifold, so you're not able to see it, but that has been installed. That is ready to go, and the lines have been plumbed. If you want to come here, you can see the oil cooler. It sits right in between the front mount intercooler and the radiator. Super nice, great fitting, great brackets, not a big deal. I'm glad that worked out really well. The lines fit perfect too. The lines were plug and play with Chase Bays sandwich plate. And then also, one thing that I did find out is the previous owner of this car had the wiring pigtail for an oil temperature sensor. And I never ran an oil temperature sensor. But since we were doing all the sensors anyways, I went ahead and bought the AEM oil temperature sensor and plugged that in as well. So we'll be able to see oil temperature and keep an eye on that and see if there are, any differences, if the oil cooler is actually doing its job or not. So that'll be in a separate video. Once everything is running, we'll be able to test that and see how that works. So that I'm really pumped about. And now let's talk about the current state of what's going on with the throttle body. So if you want to come closer, I can show you what's going on. Okay, so here's the current state of the intake manifold. You can see that it's loosely bolted up. It's just as a mock-up. The fuel rail is not on, and a bunch of stuff is not on. And the reason for that is because we're having issues with the throttle body. As you can see, this is not the same throttle body as the first video. This is the one that came with the intake manifold. And the problem with all of these throttle bodies, at least, in my opinion, is that they don't fit properly. You can see that it's hitting my power steering, it's hitting the fuse box. I mean, it just doesn't look nice. Now, there are some people who will rotate this to get it to fit. I think some people rotate it like this to get it to fit, and then, move a bunch of stuff around. And I didn't want to deal with any of that because that involves drilling into the provisions in these holes to get it to mount up properly to the intake manifold. And I think that that's just too much of a headache for me to deal with. And for the past few years since I've been building this car, I've always wanted to do drive-by-wire. Because this is an older car, they use a throttle cable as you can see. This is that Land Cruiser longer throttle cable that I got installed, which I have to take off now and sell this, and then also sell this, so be on the lookout for that. Basically, I wanted to do drive-by-wire to get a more modern throttle feel. This is probably the oldest car I've ever owned. I had back in the day, I had an N54 335, then I had a C6, a C7, all Z06s, and the throttle in this MK4 Supra is pretty laggy and kind of has a weird, like, cable-y feeling to it, and that's just how normal 90s cars are. And so, because I was already, like, have everything taken apart, I might as well go drive-by-wire. I've always wanted to do it, and this is the best time to do it anyways. And plus, the drive-by-wire kit also fits up, like, super nice. There's no drilling for the throttle cable involved. I don't have to use a step bit drill. I don't have to do any of that stuff. And so, I think it was a great solution. And it's only a few $100 more, and in the long run I've always wanted to do it, so I'm like, screw it, might as well do it now. So today what I'm going to do is we're going to go through all of the parts that I got for the car, and then we're going to walk you through what is being done here at the fabrication shop. So why don't you follow me? Let's get started. So this is the old throttle body that I'm going to sell, so be on the lookout for that. We have a bunch of parts here. And first thing I'm going to start with is the drive-by-wire kit. And I got it from Outsider Garage. And if I do a quick unboxing, I mean, you can see that, it's super nice, thick packaging. Everything is labeled. It comes out with, the pinouts for the Bosch throttle body and the 350Z pedal. And that's what we're going to be using today, is a 350Z pedal, which I'll take out for you guys. Super nice. I mean, bubble wrapped, billet, looks super cool, and it says Supra on it. I was sold when I saw that, to be honest. So this is supposed to be just a quick direct plug-and-play kit. Uninstall the stock one. Should be 2 or 3 bolts, 2 here, maybe 1 there. And it also has a pedal stop that's adjustable. You connect up your connector for your accelerator pedal and your throttle body, and you run those wires to the ECU. Now the biggest thing I remember is trying to find out where the heck do I pin all of these things to the ECU, because one thing that I never did or never knew is each of these cables have 6 pins, each of them. And I have to wire all of those into my ECU to get drive-by-wire working properly. And then on top of all of that, I have to calibrate it, and then I have to get a retune from my tuner. So I opted for Outsider Garage to send me their premium harness, which is supposed to be plug and play. One end is gonna go into the throttle body and the accelerator pedal, and then the other end, they are bare wires, which we're going to get pinned up, and we're going to talk about what pins they go into for the AEM. Outsider Garage also on their website does give you the diagram as well. If you have an AEM Infinity, I think Haltech, almost every ECU does drive-by-wire. But every time I searched on YouTube, I could not find a video that talks about what pinouts are used or how to, put those pins on or anything like that. So we're gonna briefly talk about that, because the next time, hopefully you see this car, it's gonna be all buttoned up, and we should be working on some small minor adjustments along with tuning. So we saw the accelerator pedal, we saw the wiring harnesses. It also comes with this nice plate that will bolt into the floor, I believe. And this is going to be used to center, and probably used for this pedal stop as well. I'm not too sure. They do have an install guide on their website, so we're definitely going to be referring to that. I think I see, it says right-hand drive and left-hand drive on this. So we have a left-hand drive Supra, so I'm assuming that, this is kind of universal for all Supras. It does come with its own hardware, which is really nice. Should be pretty simple. So the biggest thing about this kit is this throttle body adapter. And what this enables us to do is we will be able to bolt this on to the intake manifold that we have right now. And then this will off-center the throttle body so it doesn't hit anything, and we're able to bolt this in here. And this prevents us from drilling or doing any of that crazy stuff that I was talking about the other way, using a throttle body that uses a cable. This is super nice, and so I'll show you what it kind of looks like. So my power steering reservoir line, unfortunately right now, is in the way. I have the PHR kit, basically, so this line and this reservoir from Chase Base is going to be moved to the back, somewhere around the master cylinder area, and we're going to get a bracket made for it, so that frees up this area for the bracket to sit perfectly here. So once this bracket sits here perfectly, the electronic throttle body will sit inside of this, and it's going to be off-centered so that it doesn't hit anything, and it's going to be free and clear of any obstacles in the way. So this is a really nice billet, aluminum, all blacked out kit by Outsider Garage. I'm really excited to use this. It does also have an O-ring here as well, so it should stop any boost leaks or any vacuum leaks or any type of leaks that this may encounter. With my luck, it's probably going to leak on the first try, but we'll see what happens. Lastly, I do have the Bosch 74mm electronic throttle body. I believe this comes in the Porsche 997. That's what I'm told. I could be wrong. But they told me that the 74mm is the one that's good for up to 1100 horsepower. They say you want to get the smallest throttle body size for your horsepower goals in order to have a more peppy and down low torque response. So the smaller the throttle body is, you're going to have better throttle response in the lower RPMs. Now, since we're trying to make 1000 horsepower and we have a bigger intake manifold, all of that stuff, I'm going to lose some down low power and some down low torque versus the stock one. And so hopefully with this 74mm throttle body, we'll be able to recoup some of that torque and have better throttle feel. We'll also have a better idle. We'll also be able to do rolling and anti-lag. We'll be able to do a bunch of stuff with an electronic throttle body, which I'm super pumped about, and I've been waiting, a few years to do this. So this is going to be really awesome. Other than that, PHR has been super kind to send me out these spacers. And from the last video, if you watched it, we talked about PHR boost line kit that I had installed, and some of the spacers on there did not fit right, and they caused the wastegate lines to be loose. They weren't tight. And for a $200 kit, I think PHR did a great job. Everything is anodized, and it also mounts the max solenoid up front. The lines are super nice, but I called them and they apologized. They sent me a new set of spacers that should fit perfectly. There was some production issue that they said, but really nice of them. Honestly, like, PHR is one of those companies that went above and beyond when they didn't have to. They could have just told me that, hey, this is how it is and you get what you pay for, but they didn't. They remedied this. They also sent me a new bypass hose. Like from the last video, I thought that the oil cooler kit didn't come with one, and I bought one separately, but it's supposed to come with one. So the one that I bought, I just installed it on there, and then this one I'll probably just keep as an extra. But thank you, PHR, for saving me on that. And then the last thing that is totally unrelated is the Uniden R8 radar. So I'm super pumped about this new radar. I got it for my birthday. Thank you to everybody who gave this to me. I'm super excited to install this. I've always been a Valentine 1 type of guy. I've had Valentine 1 in all of my cars. And the guy behind the camera is the one who stole my Valentine 1 for the past 6 years, which is my younger brother. So he's been basically, using my Valentine 1 forever, as long as I can remember. And I haven't had a radar in my car. And with this type of power and this type of car, you definitely want, a radar. And so I'm glad that for my birthday, they got me the R8. So that's gonna be super exciting. And the last thing is a BTI gauge. So when I had the car before, I had a Gauge Art can gauge, And I sold that off and bought this BTI gauge. I was having issues with it. The touchscreen wouldn't work. It was kind of like, had a mind of its own. So I sent it into BTI to get it fixed, and they replaced the screen, and it should be all good now. This is their upgraded 3.5-inch screen. This is like a Gen 1 BTI gauge. There's a lot of more options from BTI now. They have like a 4.3-inch, they have a whole dash. They have so many options, and they're really nice to deal with. The guy I talked to was Brandon. I think he's the main guy at BTI. And he was super nice, and he said, yeah, you know, we'll go ahead, we'll test it, and if it's bad, then we'll replace it, and we will upgrade you to the new 3.5-inch screen with better materials. And so that's what that is. So once we get the car running, we'll plug this up, and hopefully that'll be ready to go. And that's it for all the new parts that we have going on in the Supra for this time around. Basically, the fab shop, what they're going to be tasked to do is, we'll show you over here, is the intercooler piping needs to come out of this battery box, this battery tray area. So they're going to drill a hole in this battery tray area, and they're going to create a pipe that will come in through here and have a bend that will mate to the throttle body. And that's why we're here at the fab shop. And so they're going to kind of put everything together, and it'll be the finished product probably in the next video. Hopefully, I got my fingers crossed. So we're excited to do that. They said that it should take a few days because they have other cars and other customers to deal with. So I'm super excited about that. All the new parts that have came in, I'm super excited for that. I'm super excited for the drive-by-wire tuning. And then I'm also going to put some pictures and stuff up regarding wiring for the drive-by-wire setup. You know what, actually, it's really dark in there, you probably would see, but let's go take a look at it anyways. So, if you have an AEM Infinity, it has one massive connector, and I think this is only true for the Series 6, and you might have to duck in here, I'm not really sure if you're going to be able to get this. But these are all of the wires that it has, and this is an AEM Infinity 6, so basically, you pop this off, and you're able to get to all of these wires. Now the nice thing is that this is a wiring specialties harness, so every single wire is labeled with a number. Now, I have AC installed in this car as well, which is wired into the ECU. Now with drive-by-wire and AC and an AEM Infinity, the AC switch input also doubles as one of the inputs for a drive-by-wire as a switch. So we have to relocate pin 71, which is my AC switch, and pin it to C1-30. That's all from my tuner, and that is basically, we need to switch that AC into that pin in order to get it to work properly. Once that's done, then the throttle body has 6 pins, like I said earlier, and that's going to be pinned into pin number 70, 69, and then the powers and grounds for each of those. So once that's done, we'll also show you that. That is a little sneak peek of what the wiring harness setup is going to look like. And the car should be wrapped up by then. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one, and hopefully the next one everything will be wrapped up, and we'll probably do some driving videos, and then we'll hit the dyno. Thanks.